It is the one seed in the AFC, the one seed in the NFC. A nice Christmas gift coming up with Ravens, 49ers. We talk about it next on DJ Football. He is Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network. I'm Ryan Brown. This is DJ Football. Baltimore and San Francisco, Christmas night. We will discuss that on the show presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. You make your deposit. They give you a deposit bonus up to $1,000 when you use code next round. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round. That is MyBookie.ag. Code next round. What is up, DJ? How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Once upon a time, I was in the Superdome watching a Super Bowl between these two teams. And at that point in time, previewing that game, I remember talking about how these are the two most physical teams in the NFL. Right. It's going to be an absolute war. And here we are, all these many years later, a lot of new faces, a lot of new names. One new coach on the San Francisco side of things, but it's the same storyline, same exact storyline.
Listen, man, back then, both Harbaugh brothers were coaching in the postseason. Both Harbaugh brothers are coaching the postseason this year.
Yeah, so, that's very true.
One of them's in Michigan, right?
Very true.
Well, let's start with Baltimore. You mentioned the fact that one coach, John Harbaugh, has been there this long, and it has been the model of consistency. Very few, if any, franchises in the time that John Harbaugh has been there have been any more consistent than the one he's coaching.
Yeah, and I think even predating him for most of Brian Billick's tenure there, had been very consistent playoff team year after year, great defense. Those hallmarks haven't really changed. The difference has been that you introduce Lamar Jackson, and the offense has now been able to keep up with the defense. And they're I think they're top 5 in both offense and defense right now. So one of the more balanced teams in the league. They're a team, when you look at the bodies they roll through along that defensive line. I know Justin Madubuike has got a lot of credit. He's tying that NFL record with 11 games with a sack, or at least half a sack in 11 straight games. But it's not just him. They are deep. They roll a bunch of guys through there. And one of the things I love about this game is, you think about devalued positions, the running back position is the one that gets mentioned most often. Right. But there's a lot of organizations, the Eagles are one of them, who have devalued off-the-ball linebackers and said, it's not a premier position. We can find them anywhere. We're not going to pay them on second contracts. That is a position held by a lot of teams, not these two. These off-the-ball linebackers in this game for both teams are outstanding, with Warner and Greenlaw, and then you look at Roquan Smith, as well as, why am I going to draw a blank? Help me out. LSU, Patrick Queen. Thank you very much. They are dynamic linebackers in this ball game.
I was about to feed you the name, but you came up with it.
I got it.
I don't want to show you up on your own show. You are the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. I'm just Ryan Brown, just regular Ryan Brown. The last time out for Baltimore, they locked down that playoff spot in Jacksonville. Yeah. Jacksonville made a boatload of errors, including a complete bonehead play at the end of the first half by Trevor Lawrence. But listen, that's a tough road environment to go into and get a win. And boy, it was a lot of Lamar Jackson. Now, the defense played great, obviously, slowing down Jacksonville. But boy, Lamar Jackson showed out in that game.
Yeah, I had almost 100 yards rushing in that game. You look at what they're doing with Isaiah Likely taking over for Mark Andrews. That's one thing, that organization, I always look at things through a scouting lens, Ryan, and they have scouted the tight end position as well as anybody in football. They just go through one to the next, to the next, to the next. I can't remember the last time they didn't have a quality tight end. I mean, going back to when I was there with Todd Heap in the early 2000s, they've just put together an unbelievable run, and Isaiah Likely looks like that next guy. You've got Odell, who can give you, looks like he's got a little bit of his explosiveness back and give you some big plays. Keith Mitchell lost the injury. Losing him is going to hurt him a little bit because of the speed element that he brought. But look, Lamar can get you out of a lot of trouble, and they're going to find themselves in trouble in this game because they're going to get heated up by, the best front in football in the 49ers. I can't wait to see that kind of, that little chess match of wanting to get after Lamar Jackson, but not wanting to get caught at a position up the field where he can really do some damage. It's going to be fascinating to see how they rush him.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody they play gets stuck in that chess match, right? I mean, there's if there were good film on how to avoid that, everybody would avoid it. I don't know that there is any avoiding it.
Well, the only thing is, schematically, they are the 49ers run what they call that jet front, which is they're going to get out in the wide nine, and it is an attack up the field front. So they just want to win upfield. And that usually is not the best way to play Lamar Jackson. So it's easy to say, okay, well, we'll just mush rush and, we're going to try and just lock. They don't play like that. They don't line up in the center of blockers and try and sit there and hold the point of attack. They get on edges and get up the field. So it could be a little cat and mouse game there to see who's gonna change what they do.
It is San Francisco playing host to Baltimore. We'll talk about the 49ers in a moment. A reminder, DJ Football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. You make a deposit. They're going to give you a deposit bonus up to $1,000 just because you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag code next round. Also, Manscaped.com. I have right here next to me the handyman at Manscaped.com. This is the compact razor, easy to travel with. It's their newest product. You can get that and all their other great products at Manscaped.com, and we're going to give you a code to save money there as well. You can get the Beard Hedger, which has the dial-up guard, so the guards don't pop off at an inopportune time. You get the Weed Whacker, which takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair. You get the Lawnmower, which takes care of the full body and the undercarriage. You get those great boxer shorts, the great male body products, all at Manscaped.com. Great gift-giving idea, too. Manscaped.com, code DJF Football to save 20% off your initial order there at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off your first order when you use code DJF20, DJF20 for 20% off your first order at Manscaped.com. All right, so the MVP odds right now are heavily in the favor of a guy that was barely even drafted, but has turned into maybe the MVP and Brock Purdy. I was watching Sunday Night Football. I think they were discussing it on Sunday Night Football and how you could really make a case for a ton of guys on that San Francisco roster, but it's a quarterback's award, and Brock Purdy is the guy that's in the lead right now.
Yeah, he would be my pick. I do find it somewhat fascinating that he's getting penalized for the talent around him, which is, I'm not to say that they aren't loaded, and it's an environment where other quarterbacks can be successful, but we've never done this in the past with the MVP. We've never said, Patrick Mahomes, well, I don't know. He's got the best tight end in football, and he had Tyreek Hill, the most unique weapon in football, and he's got Andy Reid calling plays. So he's, we can't give him the MVP. When Joe Burrow's having a great year, we don't say, yeah, but look at the guys he gets to throw to. Like, we don't do that with other guys. We do it with him, and I don't like that. So to me, I think he is the MVP. Christian McCaffrey is going to be on the podium when all's said and done. Is probably a top 3 guy. But it's been a quarterback award. It is what it is. And he's been clearly the most consistent and the most, impressive player at that position this year. I don't think there's really a debate.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I have had a lot of 49ers fans. I happen to know a few 49ers fans. And they say, look, if I voted and I would love Purdy to win it, it would be Christian McCaffrey for me. He's the guy that changed our offense going back to last year.
Yeah, I mean, since McCaffrey's got there, they've been successful. It just so happens it pretty much coincides with when Brock Purdy took over. So what's the gap in games where they weren't playing with each other? So, look, McCaffrey's had an unbelievable year. He's a special player. It's a great example, too, on the personnel side of things, which is the running back should be the finishing piece. It shouldn't be the initial piece. You have so many touches, so many carries in your body. Don't waste them on bad football teams. This was the perfect acquisition for the 49ers. Wouldn't have been for other teams. So, hats off for them for realizing, even with the money he makes, that it was well worth it. And one of the reasons why they're able to carry him is because they've got a quarterback who makes no money. You talk about being valuable. If you want to look at the word valuable,
that's it.
Look at performance versus pay and do that equation. As great as McCaffrey is, look what he makes, and look what you're getting out of Brock Purdy for what he makes. So if you want to use valuable, that would clearly make him the most valuable.
As I tell my 49ers friends, do you know how often you could completely swing and miss on a top 5 quarterback pick and live to tell about it?
Oh, no.
You're not just living to tell about it. You're the 1 seed in the NFC. That never happens.
And they didn't even maximize the trade value of Trey Lance. It was basically, we know we're really good, and it will just make it cleaner if we just let him go. We'll get what we get, but we're going to more than likely be in the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. So let's just eliminate this storyline and this distraction right now. And it looks like nobody's even thought of Trey Lance.
No, really.
Year, much less talked about him.
Yeah, until I just brought him up there, right? So if you your gut tells you percent chance the 49ers are the 1 seed in the NFC.
Oh, gosh.
It's close to
I
100
would say,
right now.
yeah, I would say, yeah, I don't see them losing.
Yeah.
I really don't. And save an injury that were to come their way, I don't see them losing. This is not an easy game for them. Baltimore is going to be a tough opponent, but when the 49ers play their game, nobody's beating them. So it's going to take them playing a really kind of off character game, or them having some injuries that we can't foresee. They're on a mission, man.
A percent chance for Baltimore. Now, one of our other preview videos is Miami and Dallas. So you go get that same place you got this video. Disrupt the Media with DJ Football. We previewed the Miami-Dallas game, which obviously will be before this one. So Baltimore will know the outcome of that game. Percent chance for the Ravens getting the 1 seed. What would your gut tell you that is?
I'm going to say 40. I'll say
Okay.
40%. Yeah, I think obviously they're still in a good spot, but man, this is a tough one here, and I just don't see. I know Miami's been a little bit. They've had a clunker here or there, but
Oh yeah,
I don't see that happening down the stretch. I think Miami finishes this thing out.
yeah.
Not to spoil the other video. Not to spoil that other
you got to
video.
go see how
check that out.
Yeah, you got to see
Go
how.
check that out. Maybe
them.
I'm just throwing you a curveball here. You don't know.
He is Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network. DJ Football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. You get that bonus. That when you make a deposit, you get a bonus up to $1,000. You can use that money right away. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Code next round at MyBookie.ag. Also, Manscaped.com. Code DJF20. DJF20 is your code at Manscaped.com to save 20% off your initial order. We mentioned the Cowboys Miami preview that is available. Also, the preview for the Chiefs and the Raiders. All that right there at Disrupt the Media. Just make sure you subscribe to our channel and you get those every single week. Set your alerts as well. All right, he's Daniel Jeremiah, and this is DJ Football.